Since 1984, large quantities of archaeological artifacts have been excavated from Singapore's Fort Canning Hill and its vicinity. Especially valuable porcelain imported in the 14th century from Yuan dynasty China. These discoveries appear to corroborate the classical Malay text Sejarah Melayu's descriptions of Singapura, a wealthy port kingdom founded by the Palembang prince Sang Nila Utama. The Singapura era ended when its fifth king, Iskandar Shah, was expelled by a Javanese attack and he went on to found a new city in Malacca. According to a book written by a group of Singaporean historians, the Sejarah Melayu recorded that Sang Nila Utama, also known as Sri Tri Buana, came to this island at the turn of the 14th century. Subsequently, local school textbooks now teach that Singapore's history began in the year 1299. Even though more than 40 Sejarah Melayu manuscripts are preserved in libraries across the world, none of them actually state the dates of the Singapura period. So where did the 1299 date come from? In 1819 Stamford Raffles came to Singapore and he established a trading station on this island for the East India Company. But even before this, the Englishman already knew the history of Singapura from the Sejarah Melayu, and he introduced it in his book, History of Java, in 1817. Interestingly, Raffles thought that Singapura was founded in 1160. It is almost certain that Raffles had obtained the date from the History of Sumatra, written by his friend William Marston. Marston in turn cited from François Valentin, an 18th-century Dutch historian, who had a Malay king list that described the names and length of reigns of a line of monarchs, beginning from Sri Tri Buana. At the end of this list was Sultan Abdul Jalil Shah, who ascended the Johor Sultanate throne in 1699. Working backwards from this date, Valentin determined that Sri Tri Buana was crowned as king in Palembang in 1160, before he led the Malay people on a mass migration to Singapura. Significantly, Valentin claimed his information was gleaned from Kitab Hang Tuah, a book otherwise called Sulalata Salotan, which happens to be the Sejarah Melayu's original Arabic title. Many writers and historians after Raffles, such as John Crawford and Song Ong Siang, also accepted 1160 as the founding date of Singapura. Belief in the date's accuracy was reinforced in 1938, when R. O. Winstedt, a leading scholar in Malay history, published Raffles 18, a Sejarah Melayu manuscript copied for Raffles in around 1812. This manuscript, which Winstedt thought to be the earliest recension of the Sejarah Melayu, described an order of kings and their reign durations that mirrored Valentin's list. Notably, Raffles 18 gave the total reign period of the 5 Singapura kings as 114 years, including Iskandar Shah's 22 years as ruler after Singapore. In 1947, a British Malaya civil servant William Linehan learned about a record in the history of the Ming dynasty, reporting the death of the first king of Malacca in circa 1413. Linehan identified this king with Iskandar Shah, and he used the length of reigns of the Singapura kings stated in Raffles 18 to calculate that Singapura was founded, not in 1160, but 1299. Linehan, and not the Sejarah Melayu, was the source of the 1299 date. But while some historians accepted Linehan's argument, it has a fatal flaw. The Ming annals actually gave the name of the Malacca king who died in 1413 as Parameswara. It added that his death was memorialized before the Chinese emperor by his son and successor, who was Iskandar Shah. These revelations of the identities of Malacca's first 2 rulers were verified by information gathered by the city's Portuguese occupiers in the 15th and 16th centuries. This is to say, Linehan was wrong in his postulations about Iskandar Shah's death in 1413 and Singapura's foundation in 1299. What we know today from archaeology about Singapore's prosperity in the 14th century also proves that Singapura was not founded in 1160. So when did the history of Singapore begin? And where can we find the keys to unlock this secret?